I thought he was here to help us. I believed every word he said. They said he was here to protect us, to guide us. But his smile, it hid something darker. One by one, we entered that room. One by one, we left carrying secrets too heavy to share. We were told to trust him. We had no reason to doubt. But we were so wrong. What happened behind that door changed everything, forever. This is our story, and it's one you need to hear.
Once upon a time, nestled in the lush valleys of Iyanu village, there lived a close-knit community surrounded by vast yam fields and tall, ancient olumo trees. The village was serene, but beneath its peaceful surface lay a troubling issue. Many of the young girls were forced to leave school due to early pregnancies. Their futures, bright and full of promise, were being stolen. Desperate for change, the elders sought help from the city. One day, a messenger arrived, bringing hope to the village. The government was sending a doctor to teach the girls about health, protection, and the value of their education. The news of his arrival spread quickly, and the villagers eagerly awaited their savior. Dr. Kande, a young and charismatic physician, arrived on a warm afternoon, his white coat catching the sun's rays. His warm smile and confident demeanor instantly put the villagers at ease. The community gathered under the grand olumo tree, the village's most sacred gathering spot, to welcome him. The eldest among them, Elder Adigun, stepped forward. His voice was deep and commanding, like a drum echoing across the hills. "Dr. Kande, you are a gift to our village. Our daughters are like seedlings struggling to take root. We entrust them to your care, to guide and protect them." Dr. Kande bowed respectfully. "I have come to serve, Elder Adigun," he said, his voice full of conviction. "Together, we will ensure these young women grow into strong and unshakable trees, their roots firmly planted in the soil of wisdom."
The villagers cheered, their hearts swelling with hope. Yet, behind Dr. Kande's charming smile, a darkness lingered, a secret that no one could yet see. Dr. Kande quickly became a beloved figure in the village.
His gentle demeanor and innovative teaching methods captured the attention of the girls. Instead of lecturing, he told stories, weaving health lessons into captivating tales. His clinics were held under the shade of the olumo tree, where girls sat on wooden benches, hanging on to his every word. "Your body is your temple," he often said. "Knowing it means protecting it. Your future depends on the choices you make today." The girls nodded in agreement, their young minds soaking in his wisdom. Mothers watched from a distance, smiling with pride. "Dr. Kande is truly a blessing," they whispered. "Look how he inspires our daughters." But not all was as it seemed. After his public lessons, Dr. Kande began inviting the girls for private checkups in his small consulting room behind the clinic. One by one, the girls were called inside, the door closing softly behind them. When it was Amara's turn, she hesitated. She was one of the brightest girls in the village, always eager to learn, but something about the way Dr. Kande looked at her made her uneasy. Still, trusting his authority, she stepped inside. The room was dimly lit, the only light coming from a small oil lamp on the table. Dr. Kande gestured for her to sit. "Amara," he began, his tone warm and reassuring, "you've been an excellent student, but there are some things I can only teach you one-on-one." Amara nodded nervously, her hands gripping the edge of her seat. "This is for your benefit," he continued, moving closer, "to ensure you grow into a strong and healthy young woman." He took her hand gently, his touch lingering longer than it should. Amara felt a chill run down her spine, but she didn't pull away. She trusted him. He was a doctor, after all. As the moments passed, Dr. Kande's tone grew softer, almost a whisper, and his actions became more invasive. Amara froze, unsure of what to do. By the time she left the room, her steps were shaky and her eyes were heavy with confusion and shame. She told no one, just as Dr. Kande had instructed her. "This is our little secret," he had said, his voice like honey. "Don't tell anyone, not even your friends." What Amara didn't know was that someone had seen everything. Tunde, the village troublemaker, had been loitering near the clinic, curious about the doctor's private checkups. Peeking through a crack in the wall, he saw everything. His mischievous grin widened as he realized the leverage he now held over Dr. Kande. That evening, as Dr. Kande walked home under the fading sunlight, Tunde stepped out from behind a tree, blocking his path. "Ah, Dr. Kande," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. "You've been quite thorough in your checkups, haven't you?" Dr. Kande froze, his smile faltering. "I don't know what you're talking about," he replied sharply. Tunde chuckled, folding his arms. "Don't play dumb. I saw what you did with Amara. But don't worry, I'm not one to gossip. As long as we come to an understanding." Dr. Kande's heart raced. "What do you want?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Tunde leaned in, his grin widening. "Send some of the girls my way. I'd like to assist with their education." Reluctantly, Dr. Kande agreed, and a dark partnership was born. Tunde began meeting the girls in the abandoned hut by the river, where he preyed on their trust and fear. The cycle of betrayal deepened. Amara struggled to keep her pain to herself, but her best friend, Ngozi, noticed the change. One day, as they fetched water from the river, Ngozi confronted her. "Amara, you've been so quiet lately. Is something wrong?" Amara hesitated, her hands trembling. Finally, she whispered, "It's Dr. Kande. He said it was part of the checkup, but..." Her voice broke and tears streamed down her face. Ngozi's eyes widened. "He did the same to me," she confessed, her voice shaking. "And Tunde, he told me it was part of what Dr. Kande wanted." The two girls sat in silence, their shared pain heavy between them. Slowly, they began to open up, realizing they weren't alone. The next evening, Amara and Ngozi gathered the other girls. One by one, the truth spilled out. Dr. Kande's betrayal, Tunde's manipulation, and the secrets they had all been too ashamed to share. Together, they decided to tell their parents. The villagers, outraged, gathered under the alumo tree. Elder Adigun's voice boomed as he called for justice. "Dr. Kande, you were meant to protect our daughters. Instead, you brought them harm. And Tunde, you betrayed your own people. Tonight, you will answer for your actions." Dr. Kande and Tunde were dragged into the square. Their punishments were swift. Dr. Kande was ordered to stay in the village, providing for the girls and their families for the rest of his life. Tunde was sentenced to labor in the fields, far from the young women he had wronged. Over time, the village began to heal. The girls, though scarred, found strength in their unity. Their laughter returned, faint at first, but growing stronger, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds.
The story of Dr. Kande and Tunde became a tale of warning, told around fires to remind future generations of the dangers of blind trust and the power of standing together. Iyanu village stood stronger than ever, united by a promise to protect their own and never let darkness take root again. Thank you for joining Jum's journey and experiencing the power of acceptance and resilience with us. If you found her story inspiring, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned for more captivating tales ahead. Until next time, farewell.